If you're a Sneako fan, I'm willing to bet that right now you're silently exiting the building because Sneako has been on a weird story arc. In this video, I'm going to break down a quick summary of why I think Sneako is a problem.
You're gonna make an exposed video about me? Fine, you think I care?
Hopefully by the end of this video, your eyes are open to the reality of the type of content creator Sneako is.
Oh, you're just gonna post this in your little exposed video? Period? Stop right there. Say it louder for the bitches in the back.
The Sneako shenanigans are crazy. That's the first thing I need to say. The Sneako shenanigans are insane. This guy is like a chameleon. He's gone from genre to genre to genre. I don't know what Sneako's all about. Sometimes he's creative, sometimes he's conspiratorial, sometimes he's religious, sometimes he's just talking out of his ass. He wants to be a vlogger, he wants to be a streamer. Sneako doesn't know what he wants to be. That's the bottom line. Anybody who's watched my content knows that I did not want to make this video because I think that Sneako has the potential to be a good content creator. I've been watching Sneako lately and he's going down a very dangerous path, a very conspiratorial path. He thinks that just because Jeffrey Epstein was tied to Israel and Israel is a bad actor, that whatever country is against Israel is good.
This is not about peace. Trump is not doing this because you really fell for the propaganda. If you think that this is about the Iranian protesters, that this is about Iranian people. Think for a second. Did you think Trump, Marco Rubio, Howard Lutnick, Pete Hegseth, Netanyahu give a fuck about Iranian civilians? Do you think they give a single fuck? People all over the Epstein files that are covering up for pedophilia, blackmail, the murder of the victims of girls that were coming forward about Epstein. You think they care about random Iranians?
When in reality, have you ever given the thought, Sneako, that perhaps all of them are bad? Perhaps America is bad, Israel is bad, Iran is bad, China is bad, Russia is bad, the Europeans are bad, Africans are bad. Have you ever thought for 1 second that maybe everybody is bad? Instead of trying to pick a side, have you ever had an independent thought at all? The problem with Sneako is that he's too easily influenced. He went from being a Catholic to being a Muslim. Why? I have no idea. Who influenced him? Was it Andrew Tate's pivot to Islam? Was it some other content creator in the background? Who will know? All I know is that we've seen Sneako go through many, many story arcs. He's gone from being a kid who talked about his life.
You only live once, and no matter what rap lyrics will tell you, that doesn't mean getting hammered out of your mind every Friday. Do you want to finish your life with regret? Then just get off your ass and fucking do something.
To a red pill maniac.
What? You think I'm a fake red pill? You think I'm fake red pill? What do you mean?
To somebody who's obsessed with politics. Nobody's saying that you can't do those things. The problem is that you're doing it in a very conspiratorial way. And that's the problem I have with Sneako. That Sneako leads with emotion. He thinks that he's some sort of intellectual. He thinks that he has some sort of insight that other people don't have. But what he really does is he mixes common sense with misinformation. And the truth is that strategy works. The strategy of mixing common sense with misinformation, it works. It attracts people that don't have critical thinking skills. They say, oh, this guy said the sky is blue, so I guess Hillary Clinton really does have kids in her basement. I mean, shit, why would he lie to me? He was right about the sky being blue. The world is not black and white. The world is various shades of gray, and two things can be true at the same time. The problem is that Sneako is so easily influenced. One day you might get the red pill Sneako.
Sneako, fake alpha male?
The next day you might get the Muslim Sneako. And lately Sneako has been on the same path as Hasan, supporting the enemies of America, supporting the enemies of freedom. And I'm not saying that America is a perfect place. Anybody who's watched my content knows that I am very critical of America. I am very critical of this administration, the Biden administration, the Obama administration, the Clinton administration, the Bush administration, America in general. Nobody's saying that America is a perfect country. But just because America has done bad things doesn't mean that the adversaries of America are good.
You know what? It's not a bad look. It's not a bad look.
One of the other problems that I've noticed with Sneako is that Sneako wants to be liked by everybody. Sneako wants to be everybody's friend. When Sneako's with other people, if they start to reject him, if they start to put him down, you can see him physically on his face. You can see his emotional reaction to being outcasted. Sneako's a guy who wants to be accepted by everyone. And this is part of the reason why he's so easily manipulated. If he's in a room with a bunch of red pill guys, he'll be red pill. If he's in a room with a bunch of fundamentalist, racist, anti-Semitic people, he'll be anti-Semitic. If he's in a room with a bunch of white supremacists, he'll be white supremacist.
For what? I'm a white supremacist?
Yeah. Bro, you didn't think you were on a list? You're on a list, G. You must have known this.
How can I be a white supremacist? I'm not even white.
If he's in a room with a bunch of liberals, he's a liberal.
Basically, everyone's a fucking slave, but me. So yes, Dubai has slaves. And I treat my slaves very well, actually. Just so you know, I'm one of the nice slave owners. I pay them far more than I have to.
This is the face of a man who doesn't want to be in a room with these people, but he's forcing himself to be in the room with them just to be accepted. You're going to put yourself in scenarios that you don't want to be in just because you want acceptance, just because you're clout hungry, just because you want people to like you. We have an example of Sneako sitting here with Andrew Tate, and Andrew Tate is just saying whatever. And Sneako is there with a face of regret. You can tell he doesn't want to be in the room. What reputable, serious content creator who really talks about the news and politics factually is going to hang out with a Sneako? None of them. You've burnt all of those bridges by being so wishy-washy, by being so malleable. If he's in a room with a bunch of conservatives, he's a conservative. There is no actual Sneako.
What the fuck are you putting on eyelashes for? Oh, you think it's funny to be gay or something? Acting like a girl? No, masculinity all the time.
He has no personality of his own. Sneako's like a chameleon. And that is a good thing as a content creator, but it's also a bad thing.
Be a fucking man. How are you gonna say embrace masculinity and then put on this girl thing? Yo, I'm ashamed of you, Sneako. I can't believe you would do that. You think it's just like for content or for jokes? You must have, they definitely got you. What, did you sell your soul? Oh, now you're Lil Nas X? Fuck you, Sneako. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Because you don't know who you are and you're trying to camouflage into every single group. Instead of standing firm on what you believe, you're trying to capitulate to the people around you so that they like you. And that's a major flaw of character. Sneako favors himself a leader, but in reality, he's a pawn. He's a tool that other groups use to influence people to their side. The moment you wake up and realize that you're the pawn, Sneako, is the moment that you'll actually become the person you want to be. Because right now, you're not a leader. You are a pawn in somebody else's game. There's literally a clip.
Everyone's a slave. You're sitting at home in a Western country. You don't even have fucking health care because you can't afford health insurance. You go to work all day, every day to have enough money to pay rent and barely eat food. You have no prospects for the future. You can save precisely zero money. You're never going to compound your way out of your poverty because you're being outpaced by endless inflation and taxation. And you're complaining about slaves in Dubai. You are a fucking slave. There's slaves right here.
I'm not going to say Sneako's dumb. He's not a dumb guy. He's just very narrow-minded. That's the problem. He has a very simplistic perspective on the world from what I can tell. And who knows, maybe his perspective is more nuanced than I realize. But in his videos, if I'm just going by the content that he puts out, it seems like a very simplistic perspective on life. And you would think that at this age, Sneako should start to realize that this world has no such thing as good and bad. You just got different levels of bad. You can either have a little bit of bad or a lot of bad, but there is no such thing as good and evil. So the fact that Sneako converts to Islam and all of a sudden now he's glazing literal murderers, dictators, an authoritarian regime, to me seems crazy. Just because you share a faith with somebody doesn't mean that they're automatically right. And the problem with Sneako is he loves to play teams. Think about it. Throughout his entire career, that's what he's done. Played teams. Male, female, liberal, conservative, Republican, Democrat, Jewish, Arab. One of my biggest gripes with humanity is that humanity, most people love to play on teams. When in reality, playing teams is the stupidest, most low IQ move you can make on the chessboard. There are no teams. The sooner you realize that, the better off you'll be. People accuse Sneako of being a grifter, and he gets really upset when they do that. But the problem is that birds of a feather flock together. Birds of a feather flock together. So if you're hanging out with a bunch of grifters, you're probably a grifter. Let's just be honest. And for you to get upset because people are calling you out on the grift, to me seems ridiculous. If you don't want to be called a grifter, then you stick to what you believe in. You don't fluctuate based off of what's trending. First of all, when Sneako's right, he still mixes in a lot of misinformation. And when he's wrong, he's like extremely wrong, to the point where he's incomprehensible at times. And what really irritates me about Sneako is that Sneako thinks that he's more creative than he really is. He thinks that just slapping on a fisheye lens to his camera makes it creative and innovative, which kind of is annoying for the viewer. At least me as a viewer, when I'm watching a Sneako video, let's say that he's talking about a topic that I agree with him on, it's very annoying and distracting when he's trying to do all this artsy stuff. Even he knows it's artsy fartsy.
I'll come to New York, you can show me around. We'll make an arty farty video.
Let's do an arty farty video.
Let's do it, yeah, why not?
Don't forget.
All right, cool. Do an Ari Party video, sure.
And don't get me wrong, I like some of his content. When you have over 2 million subscribers, it's easy to start drinking your own Kool-Aid. But realistically, Sneako is not that creative. He's literally a straight ripoff of Casey Neistat, to the point where he had a vlog with Casey and Casey little broed him the whole time. It was kind of funny to watch. He said, I'm meeting up with my hero Casey Neistat this morning. We're going to go for a run. Casey Neistat never stopped running. Sneako met him at the spot. He ran past him. He said, yo, what's up, Sneako?
There he is. How you doing? Let's go.
Are you good to run?
Yeah, I have a fight coming up.
I thought you were going to start your run here.
Kept running. Sneako was running behind him, trying to keep up the entire time. And then Sneako got tired after he made him run like 5 miles. And then he kept on running. He just left. He left running. He said, okay, man, I'll catch you later, bro. Thank you. It was a pleasure to meet you. And he just kept on running.
Hey, I'm gonna call it here. My knee's giving. Safe flight, bro.
You want me to double back?
Nah, go ahead, man.
You done? Dude, you did well. You did well.
You're better than you thought?
Fuck yeah, look where I left you too. Special, right?
Fuck, that was a long way.
Dude, I'm out every morning if you want to do this.
I'm down. I have the fight coming up, so I'm ready.
You gotta change those shoes though.
Yeah, no more skateboard shoes.
Alright, good luck. I'll see you soon.
Have a safe flight, Casey.
He never stopped running. And I was like, bro, if I was Sneako and I was put in that situation, I wouldn't even post that video. Because it was a little bit embarrassing, I'm not gonna lie. Like, yes, you met your hero, but he little broed you the entire time. Sneako faces some of the same problems that I faced in the past, trying to find the niche, trying to find what topics he wants to talk about. But the problem is that Sneako is too easily influenced. If you are a Sneako fan, you're probably extremely confused, and I don't blame you. It's confusing to watch this guy. You never know what he's going to do next. You never know what bullshit Sneako's going to pivot to next. 1 second, he's red pill. The next second, he's a devout Muslim. He's doing a pilgrimage. 1 second, he's pro-America. The next second, he's pro-Iran, praying for the Ayatollah.
عثماني فزت برب الكعبة بصلاة مقدس إلهي باصر جديد.
This is why I said that if you're a Sneako fan, you're probably extremely confused, because the Ayatollah, a very horrible dude, just got killed in Iran. And instead of Sneako saying, whoa, okay, this guy needed to be taken out, let's see what Iran does next, he said that the guy was a martyr.
It's a reminder that this life is short. And so Khomeini, if he did die, if you died in this act, especially during the holy month of Ramadan, inshallah, he gets the highest rank in Jannah, and he gets eternal paradise. He gets the highest rank, he gets martyrdom. That's the highest achievement we can get.
I think it's ridiculous because these people are horrible people. And the problem with Sneako is that Sneako fancies himself an intellectual, but he's really not an intellectual at all. He's just an average dude LARPing as an intellectual. And lately, Sneako has been on the same path as Hasan, supporting the enemies of America. I hate to put them in the same box, but one of the things that annoys me about Hasan is that he's so narrow-minded that he thinks America bad, therefore everybody else is good. When in reality, this is not how the world works. The world is shades of gray. America can do bad stuff. It doesn't mean that the opponents of America are good. Just because America has done horrible stuff in the past doesn't mean there are adversaries are good. And the problem with Sneako is that he immediately sides with whatever adversary he deems appropriate. In this case, Israel bad, therefore the enemies of Israel are good. He's literally praising a terrorist regime. And for Sneako to say that the Ayatollah is going to have the highest position in heaven and he's going to find martyrdom, to me seems ridiculous.
Yeah, he tweeted, wow, all martyrs have a high status, but the martyrdom of these Air Defense Force officers who were defending our country in direct confrontation with the Zionist regime, the most malevolent enemy of Islam, is a martyrdom of great significance.
I have to put him in the same boat with Hassan Abi, a person who glazes terrorists. You can go back and check my record. I said that the way America was handling the Iranian situation, I thought was not the best way to handle it. But at the same time, I have to come to the realization that the Iranian regime is a bad regime. And therefore, overall, having them taken out of power is a good thing. I would never come online and praise the Ayatollah, praise the Iranian military guard because I'm anti-Israel. You can be both. You can be anti-Israel and you can be anti-Iran. You don't need to choose one. And that's the problem that I have with Sneako. That Sneako is very simple-minded. Now, don't get me wrong. There are things about Sneako that are good. I think that Sneako has potential to be a good content creator. He just needs to work on those few things, right? Being influenced by other people, having actual critical thinking skills, attempting to actually think out of the box, just be himself, right? The problem is that Sneako's not being himself. And I don't know who Sneako really is, but from his content, I would say that he's just not being himself, because a person who's really being themselves is not going to fluctuate this much. Like, brother, you changed religions. And nobody's saying that you can't convert. But when you see a person go from one extreme to the other extreme, usually it's not going to last a very long time. I give Sneako maximum 3 to 4 years being a Muslim before he converts back to Christianity or he just becomes an atheist. I really don't think it's a genuine conversion just based off of the way he acts, the things he does, the people he hangs out with. It can't be genuine. How could it be? How could it be? Sneako must be one of the most easily influenced people on the planet, because I don't think I've ever met somebody who's changed their opinion on so many things so often. It's ridiculous. Let me land the plane. What I'm trying to say here is that Sneako is a person that cannot be trusted intellectually because he is just too malleable. Maybe when you start making content at such a young age, it's hard for you to form an actual personality because you want people to like you just because you've been making content for so long. You've got content brain. From my perspective, he's just another Hasan. He's the Hasan of the right at this point. He's the Hasan of the right. And, well, actually, I don't even know. At this point, I would say that he's just another Hasan. I want to say that he's the Hasan of the right, but I really can't say that because I don't know what side of the fence he's on. Is he on the right? Is he on the left? Where is he? Because he jumps from side to side. And it's not even consistent. If you want to be a well-rounded person, you need to really do research on your own, right? I'm not talking about going to Twitter and reading tweets. I'm talking about sitting down and reading some books on history, really doing some research to understand how things work. The bottom line is that content creators like Sneako are the problem.